It was a nice, bright and sunny day, and I had just gotten my weekly allowance, and I really wanted to buy a new game. My father had just fucked me in the ass, but it was a bright, sunny day, so I didn't care that much. I was at a garage sale with my mom, and I bought a copy of Donkey Kong 64. Wow, I said, I can't wait to play this one. My mom handed me the cartridge, and I noticed that it was missing something. It no longer had a label, but it did still have something written on it. Donkey Kong 64, the unsold copy. I turned the cartridge over, and to my surprise, the real Shigeru Miyamoto had signed it. I was so excited to have the signature. I got on my two-wheeler and rode really fast back home. I didn't even bother to drive it into the garage. I just jumped off my bike and threw my bike into the lawn like they did in those shows. I ran into the house and popped that sucker in the Nintendo 64, put on that play button, and got ready for a special treat. This is when I first noticed something was wrong. When I put in the cartridge, I felt it lock in. I'd never noticed another game do that before. I tried taking it out, but it wouldn't come out at first. So I figured that maybe there was a little piece of plastic just sticking out. I just let it slide. I turned on the game, and there it is! That old logo I used to remember, a year ago when I was 1. The DK rap started playing, but something was off about it. The lyrics, they were all jumbled, and her eyes were glitching up. But I just shrugged it off and pressed start, ready to relive some of my childhood memories. I looked past the DK rap and I said, time to play my favorite game. I started up a new file, and usually when Donkey Kong sees a banana, he says, "Oh, banana." But he didn't do it this time. He just said, "Yeah, banana." It sounded like a little boy screaming. I couldn't quite make it out. That's when I turned around and saw my mom in red face paint, knocking my mother off. She was being a goof as usual. I started it up. It was just like I remember. The pan in with the bird and everything. You guys know the rest. Cranky Kong told me I had to get the 3 barrels so I could learn the basics. Climbing, breaking barrels, and jumping. But something strange happened. After Cranky told me my mission, the barrels were nowhere to be found. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find the barrels. Confused, I entered the banana hoard, hoping to find something to do. After entering the banana hoard, I noticed the screen was a lot darker than usual. I tried to adjust the TV brightness, but for some reason it stayed as dark as it was. Then I got the idea that I would get on Skype and contact my friends and ask them if they knew anything about the banana song Donkey Kong made, as well as the glitch eyes and the jumbled lyrics of the rap. My mom and red face behind me, and the missing barrels that Cranky spoke of. As I stood there on Skype after pressing enter, I waited. 10 seconds later, I saw that my friend was beginning to type as 3 little dots began to bounce. But then they stopped. Whatever he was going to write, he never sent me. So I went back to the game, but now I realized something was very wrong. To the screen, it had gotten darker, even more so than before. This is when things really started to shake me up. I looked in the corner of the screen and I had noticed it. What was happening, so I made Donkey Kong walk over there. To my utter and complete shock, a 3D model of King K. Rool started rising out of the terrain. But he had no textures, and he was purple. He faced my character and had no animations, and he was T-posing. He slowly morphed towards Donkey Kong, and I made Donkey Kong run the other direction as fast as I could. I watched in terror as my favorite monkey hero got torn to shreds, screaming in agony. I couldn't help but cry a little as I saw Donkey Kong's ribcage burst open by King K. Rool's claws. When I saw it, I screamed, and then I turned the game off. I started back and reset the game and tried to pull it out, but I couldn't. I decided to give it another go. All that appeared on the screen was a photorealistic dead monkey with flies buzzing around in a tie poorly photoshopped onto his body. It looked like somebody had really killed a monkey and put a tie on it. I didn't know what to do. I grasped at my heart and started to beat faster and faster. Suddenly the picture zoomed out and I was greeted by the Nintendo opening from GameCube game Luigi's Mansion. You know the one. The The zoom out suddenly showed the banana hoard, and it was not as I remembered it. The bananas were rotten, dripping with ooze and some kind... And the face? Well, that was actually the face that was stabbed by a stake with all the other Kong heads on it. You know, Stinky Kong, Candy Kong, Lanky. Lanky was crucified like Jesus. Crispy Kong, Cookie Kong, they were all dead, ripped apart by the purple King K. Rool hoarding over his hoard of bananas and making a loud static noise. This is when my Skype finally messaged me back. I ran over to my computer and there was my friend being held by his hair by King K. Rool himself. Only my friend didn't have his usual body beneath his head. He was decapitated. And the picture was followed by text that said, "This is real. This is real." Finally, my TV flickered and text appeared. "This is only a demo, but thank you for playing my game. Please buy it when it come out. Shigeru Miyamoto."